Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Kimberly and I'm a part-time reseller on platforms such as Poshmark, Curtsy. I do list on Mercari. I sometimes do eBay, although I slack. And I send into both ThredUP and The RealReal. I am a lot pickier about what I send and how I send into both of those platforms, but I wanted to talk about one of those today. So let's talk ThredUP. So ThredUp used to be kind of awesome. For those of us resellers who we liked the sourcing portion of reselling, but maybe not all the other work that goes with it. And I think it can still be worth sending into, but it's not the best anymore. That being said, I still utilize it, and I kind of wanted to give you an idea of why. So what I am going to show you is screenshots from, so I have my little iPad here, and I'm going to talk about some sales that I've made recently. These are actual payouts. I've been paid for these items, and I am going to talk about like what my cost of goods was and all of that. So we're going to start by saying ThredUp is a good alternative. I use it more for things that like I have had for a few years and I can't sell, or in the case of like my end of season sale at like my thrift when they have things for $1. If I can get clothing for $1 that I can split between listing myself and sending it to ThredUp and having them sell, I'm going to do that. So I wanted to talk about it. So first up, let me show you some of my sales and we'll discuss them. And we'll talk about why I sent them in or, you know, what have you. So first is, so this is a Patagonia skirt. It's just a plain, it's actually a skirt. It's plain, it's black. It has nothing besides the label inside that says it's Patagonia. I have done well with skirts, but this is something I got in a mystery box and I probably wouldn't have picked it up, to be honest with you. Even though I do well with skirts, I know that at my thrift, they price Patagonia up. My Goodwill like sees Patagonia and is like, oh, this is going to be $15. In this mystery box, I had about $1.09 invested. I did send it in a flip lot. Didn't get anywhere with that. I sent it in 2 different flip lots, and Flip no longer does their consignment option where you can send out to people to sell for you, which I think is such a bummer. I really liked doing that. Even though I had issues, including lost packages and people not sending back my stuff. So, you know, I still thought it was good, but yeah. Anyway, so ThredUp sold this particular skirt for $25.74, and I made a payout of $3.19. That's not great, but I lost no money, and I did make $2.10. So I wouldn't be sending Patagonia to ThredUp at all. Next, we have a dress. Now, this is a dress that I struggled with. So it's a really pretty dress. The brand is Banana Republic Factory. So that's the thing. I got this in a mystery box. I had $1.09 into it. It was one of the Goodwill blue boxes. I didn't know that it was factory, and when I was trying to do comps on it, I was like, oh, this isn't gonna do well. Plus, it didn't help that it's a longer dress, and I was struggling at the time to take pictures of longer dresses. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna send it in. They sold it for $28.74, and I made $2.94. You notice how it sold for more, but I made less? That is because there were coupons involved. The coupon situation on ThredUp kills me, because you could sell something for $100 and make like nothing because of coupons, because they're going to take a chunk out of it. I don't even know how to explain it. I don't even understand how their payout structure works anymore. I don't even bother trying to figure it out. I know how that sounds, but I'm gonna explain why. Next, these were something that I got in one of the mystery boxes as well. I had about $2 into them. It's a pair of gray jeans. This is from the brand Adriana Goldschmied, and I do decently well with this brand, and this size is a size 30, so it was a decent size. The problem was it was gray, and I had them listed for over 2 years with no interest. So I sent them in. They sold them for $40.74, and I made a payout of $8.29. Again, coupons were used. It tells me that. It doesn't say it in like the email where they tell you the price, but That's okay. I know it when I go into my ThredUP. It kind of gives you, there's like a little there's like a little spot on there where you can like hover over it and it tells you a coupon was used. I don't remember if it tells you how much the coupon was for, but anyway. Next, we have a pair of Athleta jeans. Now, these are a pair of black Athleta jeans. They are a size 4, so they're a smaller size. I picked these up for $2 at my local thrift that I love. And I listed them. I only had them listed for about 3 months before I was getting ready to send in a ThredUP box, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to send these in. I probably could have made more had I just kept them listed, but yeah, I was trying to fill the box. Not even going to lie. They sold for $39.74, and I made a payout of $7.92. Not great, not terrible. I did make a profit, so, not mad at that. This was probably a mistake, but you'll understand why, I think. So this is a simple black skirt, as you can see right there. It's Eileen Fisher. It's an Eileen Fisher wool skirt, size medium, and it sold for $46.74. I made $5.98. I had $2 into this. I was going to list it myself, and I kept putting it off. 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 And it was sitting in my death pile, and I said, you know what? I'm going to send this in because I haven't been listing it. I'm not listing it. I want my money back at least. Next, I think this was a good payout because I had $4 into this. So this was just a trial. It's a romper. It's House of Harlow, 1960 romper, size 6. It was white. I took a chance. I had $4 into it because I got it on sale. And I was taking pictures, and I hated the way my pictures looked. And I went, you know what? I'm not going to be able to sell this with how horrible my pictures are. I'm going to send it to ThredUP and hope they take better pictures. Well, they sold it for $57.74, and I made $19.98. I was really happy with that because, again, I made a profit. I made a decent profit, and I'm not going to lie. I know I would have been sitting on that, and I definitely don't think I would have made $57.74. I probably wouldn't even have made $19.98, to be honest. Next, we have a pair of jeans. These are nice jeans. They're Pistola. They were a size 26, so they were a smaller size. They came in one of my Goodwill blue boxes. I had about $2 into them. I sent them in. They sold for $25.74, and I made $3.23. I don't have a lot to say about them. I've never really had good luck with Pistola, so when I got them in my Goodwill blue box, I just sent them in. Next is more Eileen Fisher. I probably should have sold these myself, but as you can see, they're basic, they're black. They were size extra large, so good size. Casual pants. They sold for $47.74, and I made $9.80. This was pure laziness on my part, which is why I sent them in and sold them, but I only had $4 into them, so I did make a profit, just not as much as I should have. Laziness for the win, lose, I don't know. Next, we have this dress by Torrid. It's a pretty dress. I struggled with pictures, and I finally said, I am never going to get this listed because I'm not doing well with these pictures. Sent it in. They listed it for $35.74. I made $5.73. I made no money because I spent $5 on this dress. So I made 73 cents, but still, yeah, I would have been better off if I had done it myself. Anyway. Next, we have a really pretty Madewell skirt. It is a skirt. You see how it has that, and you can almost see it in the picture, but it has lace. I got this in a blue box. I had about $2 into it. It sold for $22.74, and I made $3.73, which meant I made about $1.73. This is something that I had sent out in flip lots. It didn't sell. I had it listed. It didn't sell, so I sent it in, and it sold. Skirts and I have a love-hate relationship. I love them. They hate me, so I sent that in. And not going to lie, most skirts that I pick up, unless it is something amazing, I'm probably sending it in. I'm sending it into ThredUP. I'm sending it into The Real Real, wherever else I can send it that I don't have to do the listing and sit on it. So the next item is a personal item. I bought this for myself right after the pandemic and we came out of lockdowns, and I was like, oh, I need a new purse. I want a crossbody. Bought this bag. I hate it. Never used it. 3 years in my closet, never once used it, and I realized I'm not a crossbody girly. I try, and I will use it sometimes. Like, I have one from like I have a Lululemon, a belt bag that I sometimes wear as a crossbody, and I'm like, that's it. But I decided to send it in. It still had its tags and everything. It is, I'm not gonna lie, I almost wish I hadn't sent it in, and I listed it myself as like the mafia wife aesthetic, because this is animal print, Steve Madden. They sold it for $23.74. I made $4.02. Technically I lost money because I know I spent more on it. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't using it. I didn't list it myself. I don't really list a lot of handbags to begin with. So next is a dress that I couldn't seem to photograph nicely, so I sent in. That really is the reason I sent it in. I had $3.50 into it. It's Maeve by Anthropologie. It was this beautiful green dress with this cutout at the top, and that was the problem. You could never, in the pictures I was taking, that cutout wasn't really coming across, so I was like, I'm going to send this in. They sold it for $37.74, and I made a payout of $7.22. Next is a Wild Fox sweatshirt that says Easy Does It. I bought this retail arbitrage to sell, but I had bought a few of these and I've sold most of them. This one was sitting, and I think one of the big reasons is because this was their size small. It was size 1. Wild Fox does, I guess they do some vanity sizing. I didn't know that, but because mine had small on it. It had a sticker. It was new with tags. And I had about $10 into this, so I lost money, but I will say I had sold others. I had sold some in live sales on Whatnot when I was actually selling over there, and I just kind of wanted this gone. I was tired of seeing it. I had it listed. It wasn't selling. I was like, all right, I'm done. Sent it in. They sold it for $28.74, and my payout was $5.58, which meant I lost about $4.42. So kind of a bummer, but that happens. Next is a pair of, so these are jeans. The brand is Good American. I got these in a mystery box from Goodwill. I had about $2 into them. They sold for $53.74, and my payout was $11.25. Awesome. Happy. You know, I'd never sold the brand, and I just was like, I'm not doing this. I don't really understand their vanity sizing, so I was like, you know what? Sending this in. Next is, this is a pair of pants that I had again in a flip lot, didn't sell, got it back 3 different times, and I said, you know what? If 3 other people can't sell it, I'm going to send it in and see what happens. Now, I like this brand, and I've done decently well with this brand, but I guess this style wasn't it. It's Lily Pulitzer. It was like blue and white giraffe print. It was odd. They were a size 6. They sold for $27.74, and my payout was $3.41. I had $2 into it, so I did make a profit of $1.41, but again, not great. Next is a blazer. So this was a wool blazer from the brand Pendleton, and I'm not gonna lie, I had about $5 into this and struggled. I wasn't doing well with it myself. I had sent it in a flip lot and it didn't sell. It came back to me, and I finally was like, you know what? And I'm glad I sent it in. So they sold it for $71.74, and I got a payout of $20.06. So I made a decent profit on this, and it's out of my house. Pendleton and I have a love-hate relationship. I love it. It hates me. I have sold a few different pieces, and I'm learning that sometimes you have to not pick it up, which is hard for me because I really love Pendleton. Here's another loss of money. This was another thing that I retail arbitraged. This is another Wild Fox. This is a sweatshirt. Again, I had others of this style and I did sell them, but this was an extra small, which, you know, I had $10 into this. They sold it for $24.74. Coupons were used. My payout was $2.59. So, however, I'm okay with it because I didn't lose money on this retail arbitrage, but this particular piece I did. It's just, I was tired of it. I wanted it out. I'm glad it sold. Next is, this is something I picked up at my little thrift. I had $2 into this. I liked the color. Little open lacy cardigan. White House Black Market. It was a size medium. I had it listed for a while. It didn't have any bites. And I've always done decently well with my White House Black Market when I sent it to ThredUP. So I tried it again and it did sell. It sold for $22.74 and I made $3.36. So little profit, but we're going to talk about this piece. So this was a dress. Beautiful dress. It was from the brand Drew. I have sent this into ThredUP multiple times before the reclaim fee, the new reclaim fee of $5.99 per piece you get back, and it never sold. I sent it in flip lots. I had it listed. Like, this thing has run the gamut. I've had it for I got it in 2020 after, when stores reopened. It was at a Marshall's TJ Maxx. This was a retail arbitrage piece. I paid $10 for it, and I could not for the life of me sell it, but it was beautiful, so I didn't want to just call it a loss. So I finally sent it in to ThredUP again, and I said, this time I'm not even reclaiming it. I just want it gone. They sold it for $71.74, and my payout was $16.97, which meant I did not lose money and I did make a profit. Also, if you can tell, my tongue is green, and it's because I'm drinking my matcha from Starbucks, so I keep looking at my tongue in the camera thingy, and I'm going, what is that? Oh yeah, your tongue is green. Anyway. Next is another dress that I would have listed myself, but again, maxi length dresses, I still pick them up, and now I'm picking them up more because I have a better arrangement for taking those pictures. But this was they have it listed as a cocktail dress, but it was more of a bridesmaid dress. It was from the brand Birdie Gray. It was a size small. They sold it for $47.74, and I made a payout of $13.80. I had $6 into this dress, and I made a profit, so I'm not mad at that. There was coupons, which kind of lowered my payout. Next is a pair of Chico's jeans. Usually I sell Chico's in this size. This was a size 2.5, so a size large. Normally I would have listed them myself. However, I was, again, trying to fill a box, so I just sent it in. I hadn't photographed them, so they were sitting there unlisted. Sent them in. They sold for $21.74. I made $3.46. I had $2 into them from a Goodwill Blue Box. Next is a Trina Turk dress. Gorgeous piece. Again, maxi dress, struggle. It was a size 4, and I'd had it for quite a long time sitting here unlisted, so I just sent it in. I had $3.50 into this. They sold it for $46.74, and I made $7.30 in my payout. Next is a soft surroundings dress that I had $2.50 into. They sold it for $28.74, and I made $5.58. The reason I sent it in is it was a wrap dress, and I was not having good luck taking pictures of it. Sometimes I will see things that I'm like, I don't want to leave this, but I shouldn't pick it up because I know I'm not going to do well with photographing. That's usually the times when I'm like, you know what, ThredUP, you can have it. But in this case, it turned out well. Next is this beautiful cardigan. It's actually like a blazer cardigan. It was silk from Talbot's. It was a size small. I got it in a blue box. I had about $2 into it. They sold it for $47.74, and I got $13.19. So this was Vince, which is a great brand, and I know that this was actually a mix piece. This was cotton linen. They sold it for $25.74, and I made $4.12. I had $2 into it. I thought I was going to do much better with that, but it sat on my Poshmark for a year, and I was like, I'm done. Send it in. And I made profit, so that's nice. Okay, so this was one of those pieces that I was going to originally send into the RealReal, and then I realized that it was not a good idea. I was not going to make any money from it, so I decided I'm going to give ThredUP a try for it. This was Alice and Olivia. It was a turtleneck sweater. It was pretty basic. It was a size extra small, so, you know, but I only had, I had like $2.50 into this, and they were able to sell it for $50.74, which gave me a payout of $8.49. There was a big coupon used on that for me to make such a small payout, but I still did make a profit, so I'm not mad at that, but I did want to point that out. Like, $50.74 should have translated to much more than $8.49. And this is why I say that. My next item that sold was an Eileen Fisher cardigan in a size small. It was just a basic. I sent it in because it had a little more wear than I was expecting. I had gotten this in a blue box. I had $2 into it. It was a size small. It sold for $47.74, and my payout was $10.36. So it sold for $3 less than that turtleneck, and I made $2 and change more. So, like, that's different, you know? And the last piece is one that I'm ending on a banger. I'm ending on one that I did not expect to sell. I did not expect to make this much. I have had this piece in my death pile for 2 years, and because I couldn't tell, I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I couldn't tell if this was women's or not, and this was a gamble. I did have return assurance on my box, so that was good, but I sent this in, and it turns out it was for women. Yay. Awesome. I didn't realize it was Black Label, y'all. So this was a pair of Ralph Lauren Black Label active pants, right? Just active pants. They sold them in a size medium. They sold them for $124.74, and my payout was $80.96. Yeah, I've had that in my death pile for 2 years. I can assure you, I would not have been able to make that much had I listed that on Poshmark. I don't even think I would have thought to list that high. So that was one of those things where I'm like, this is amazing. Totally going to do more ThredUP send-ins, you know, that kind of thing. That's the kind of payout that you're like, oh, I want more of those. I don't get a lot of those. But the reason I send to ThredUP is I'm not losing money for the most part. I told you the two that I definitely lost money on. And even though there weren't major profits, there was profit to be made. I will say that the fee of $14.99 that they now attach to all shipments in kills some of your profits. However, you saw some of those smaller ones, right? Some of the ones that it's like, I made $2 profit. Those are the ones that I send in as filler in some boxes to cover that $14.99. Like, I'm not sending in the best of the best. I'm just not. But I did send in good brands. I don't think anything that I sent in was terrible. And again, you're not seeing everything. I'm not going to go through every single sale. I just wanted you guys to get an idea of some of the sales and some of the reason why when I say I'm still sending into ThredUp, this is why. I would not have gotten that much for that Ralph Lauren. I don't think I would have ever gotten that much. You know, like some of the prices that they sold for, I wouldn't have gotten that much. Does that matter? Not really, but my cost of goods is low enough that I can give some of these things a try and just send them in. For the most part, I'm only sending in things that I've either had listed for a while or I intentionally picked up to send to ThredUp. That's it. I'm not going out of my way to source for ThredUp like I used to. I used to like actively go, oh, I can sell this on ThredUp, and if not, I'll reclaim it, whatever. But the thing is, you have to pay $14.99 to get your items listed. It's if it doesn't sell at the end of the selling period, it's $5.99 each item to reclaim plus shipping. So you're looking at, like, if you're just reclaiming even 3 items right there, you're giving them 18 plus, let's say the shipping is $8, right? So you're looking at $26 just to get back 3 items of yours that they weren't able to sell. Like, in the long run, that's really not great. So I tend not to reclaim certain things, but I mean, I've sold more than I've given them, and not even gonna lie, a lot of that is stuff that I wouldn't have wanted back anyway that I've left with them. I would say I am able to sell about 90% of my kits that I send in, and the worst I've ever done was 75% of my kits sold, and I reclaimed 3 items and let them have 2 or something like that. It was something real, like, not terrible but not great. For the most part, most of my stuff does sell, I will say. I don't mess with the prices unless it's something where I'm like, y'all really underpriced that. Even if it's just to get an extra $2 out of it, but I don't really touch the prices because I want it to sell. And if I'm not losing money and I am actually making money, this is good. So I'm not touching it. But I just wanted to give you guys an idea about ThredUP. I will say that I don't necessarily think it's worth it for people to incorporate that into their business model unless they're getting really, really cheap inventory and they already know kind of what sells for them with ThredUP. Because I will say, I no longer send them things like Diane von Furstenberg or anything designer, Sync-A-Cept, any Kate Spade, anything like that. I used to send that all the time before you had to do the reclaim fee, because usually it would sell even if it took 3 or 4 different trips to ThredUP to sell. Now with the reclaim fee, it's not worth sending. I might send it once, and if it doesn't sell, reclaim it, incorporate that into my cost of goods, the reclaim fee, and then list it myself and just sit on it until it sells. But it's really not worth it anymore to send them, for me anyway, to send them some of those things because they don't sell for me. I almost never make sales of those higher end items. Like, it's a fluke if it happens. And I did try an entire box of just like Kate Spade, Sync-A-Cept, Alice and Olivia, the House of Harlow, Clover Canyon. Like, I sent them good items to see what would happen. And I had to reclaim I reclaimed 4 pieces of it and let them keep 3 pieces because they were jeans. And I was like, it is what it is. I'm not selling them. They've been in my inventory. I did make money, but it wasn't nearly worth the worth sending in for me. So it's one of those things. I've learned my lesson. I tried it once. I'm not doing it again. I might incorporate 1 or 2 really good pieces into a lot that I send in, but that's not happening very often. But anyway, let me know what you think. Would you like more videos like this where I talk about like what's selling, where I'm selling it, what it sold for, things like that? Let me know your thoughts, and I will see you guys in my next video. And if you stuck around this long, can you guys put the little green heart in the comments? Because, you know, it helps. It helps every video. All right. Bye, guys.